Okay, we're back. It's Wednesday, February 13th, and got back from the doctor. Got good news. I mean, they didn't even drain my knee. There's no surgery needed. It's just damaged kneecap, and with when you take the pills, the glucosamine and turmeric, and I'm going to be doing physical therapy, and they say I can fully recover, and that, and drop about 10 pounds, and just don't do any crazy hill climbing like what got me hurt last year. Just do regular stuff. I mean, I'm good, so good news. And but now we're back on my bike, and if you watched all my videos, I had this little rant about this whole thing of putting the clip on for the pedal assist sensor on the side, but when I had the trouble with my brother's bike, I actually just decided to put riv nuts, because this riv nut press or tool, you can put a riv nut anywhere you want as long as you have room to compress the tool, and it's just so much easier to put a riv nut there, because then you're not messing with washers and fiddling with the clamp and everything. You don't have quite the adjustability, but I mean, once you get the little bracket made, it doesn't matter. So I put a little riv nut in here, and now the hard part is going to be bending the I want to put the the pedal assist sensor. It has to be mounted this way, so then the wire comes around like that and looks kind of funky. And so what I'm going to do is, I'd like to mount it, actually goes like this. I'd like to mount it all the way underneath, which I always can, but man, I mean, to make a bracket, I haven't figured out how to do it yet. I'm sure I might, but right now I can literally make a bracket to make it like this, and then the wire still does kind of look a little funky, but not near as funky as on my brother's, or the way this one was. So I'm just just messing around, but I got to put it on there anyway, so might as well try to hide it a little more. And so I'm just going to try to line it up, see, like that, and we'll be right back when it's done. I won't torture you with all the swearing and the drilling and the throwing tool. It's not quite that bad, but you usually have to take a couple cracks at it to get the bracket right. So I will be back when that's all done. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program with this important message. We have a development, and so here's what happened. So I have these, again, I guess everybody just assumes you're going to use like cheap cranks and cheap this and cheap that, but what if you already have like some top end stuff laying around? And this is mid-range stuff. This is no big deal. This is a Truvative power spline crank set, and if you bolt on the little pedal assist sensor the way they want it, I mean, this works good on just traditional square taper cranks, because these little ribs, just kind of clamp on there, and when the crank bottoms out, it doesn't interfere with anything. Well, this crank set, what happened was I broke it and drilled it out. You can't see it, but basically it just crushed all these little ribs up against the spline, and then when I loosened it to kind of do my thing with the pedal assist sensor, I'm like, there's something wrong. And so basically these cranks have to bottom out on the bottom of that spindle to really tighten up. And so I practiced on it, and it also cracked the original one, and I just got lucky and basically had a drill bit in my garage that was that diameter, and you can tell it didn't quite drill it all the way out, and I actually overcompensated with the Dremel, but that's not, I got one spare left, but I ain't using that. So I just put just a little tiny strip of duct tape around it. I mean, it's going to be on there, as good as anything else, and so at least the cranks can bottom out and tighten up, and they're not going to come off or loosen or ruin the splines. But that's going to sit on there fine, and I'm just going to put like maybe a little extra thing of duct tape on there, and it's going to be fine. And to be honest, I'm not buying a new crank set, and if that doesn't work, I don't care. I'm just not going to use the pedal assist. I'll just ride it till it battery die. But I'm pretty sure this will work. I don't really. I mean, this isn't any you know, tighter or looser than the other way. It's just held on a different way, and that's just first attempt. So I just need to put a little strip of duct tape right there and put the thing back on there after I do all my little mounting and stuff. And I mean, that spins. That's not, you know, look at that. I mean, there's no problem with that. Not going to be any kind of problem. Anything other than anything else I'm going to run into. I promise you, the problems we run into is going to have nothing to do with this. It's going to be something unforeseen. So anyway, yeah, that's just a quick update. So I'm going to be back when I have the sensor figured out. Okay, I'm back. I'm just back real quick to you know, document the successful test and putting the new pedal assist sensor on. And it's kind of hard to see, but I mean, that's kind of the point. Is I just thought, you know, I saw an opportunity to kind of clean it up when I had to redo it anyway. And I thought, oh no, when I got home from the doctor, I'm like, what did I get myself into? I just turned like a half-day thing into a 3-day thing with 1 day off. What am I doing? But, you know, again, I got so much time, but it's just so nice to do stuff and it works when you try something new. And I think I'm going to have to do that little trick with the cable housing again underneath, but I can probably pull it away after I mount it. But yeah, it's really hard to see. That, like I said, that is the point, ladies and gentlemen. So there it is, that little red thing is the pedal assist sensor, and I actually routed the wire behind the bracket so it's kind of tucked away, and it'll pull in really nicely with these leads from the rear tire. So I'm gonna, you know, I know it's gonna sound silly, but yeah, I'm gonna put a kickstand on it. Believe me, the kickstands are nice. I think they're called Greenfield, and they mount on the back, and they're rated for a full loaded bike with panniers, and so these things are about the same weight. So anyway, we're going to test this thing real quick, and then I'm just going to start packing up the wires. And so let's check it out. Let's get her done. Well, it's got a little wobble to it, but so did the other one. And this one's actually straighter. And I got that thing on there good. It's not going to go anywhere. That's the pedal assist. That's what all that work is for. There's the throttle. Can you see the throttle? Smooth. Okay, well, I just heard the mailman, so I'm going to go catch him in the act. Till next time. So it's about 5:40 p.m. Wednesday, February 13th, 2019, and I can actually say that this bike, my e-bike, is finished. And so the only thing that I really have to do is like put on the phone mount and put on the grips, pedals, and seat, which I'll probably put on the phone mount and the grips, you know, like tomorrow night. Tonight I'm pretty much done. I've been working on this thing since I got back from the doctor at like 11 o'clock, so that's 7 hours. And I can, you know, say with confidence that I can consider it finished. And so let me just run this thing just real quick. Well, I'll run it at the end, but everything worked out really well. The it looks, you know, the tucking all the wires under here, it's just up in it like a bottle, and all the wiring is, you know, folded back and forth in there, and it's you know, it's going to be easy to take off if need be. This is the lead for the light. It kind of mocks the leads for the throttle and the display. And so here's the light, and right here that's 48 volts. I mean, you know, so if I ever want to put a headlight up there, it's ready to go. And you know, the battery's on there good, everything's good, it's ready to go. I got the kickstand on. I know it's kind of cheesy, but you know, hey, unless you're like on a bomber like that, you know, I have a kickstand, because you just don't want a 60-pound bike that you got, like, I don't know how, I don't even want to know how much money I got in this thing. You just don't want it to fall over, and they're handy. You know. So it's done, and so I'm just going to run it one more time and do a little minor cleanup off camera, and then call it a night. And then tomorrow I'm getting a ton of parts for the trike, but I'm not getting any of the iron, so there's really not a lot I can do so on the trike till I get the metal. So anyway, we're going to run this thing and call her good. That never gets old. Man, I literally... Yep. So we're calling it done. You're not going to see a lot video on this or my brother's bike. This is it. So this is the wrap up on my e-bike and my brother's e-bike. It was a great time. Spent well, yeah, I spent way too much, not way too much money, but too much money. But man, just look at the results. You know, so that's pretty much it. So happy Valentine's Day, a day early, and this is fade out.